Speedy here, and welcome to this 1v1 video. Let's be patient here on the kickoff here. Nice. Good play for the bump. One of the key things there was recognizing that I could use the side there as a way to get pressure. It's unfortunate because, like, in his case, like, he's getting, like, stuck under the wall. But you have to be really careful about when you're defending that, is having no momentum to the play. Can't really commit. Kind of put myself into a spot where I'm kind of pretty committed. It's a bad spot for me to have no momentum. Nice. Get the save there. So I'm actually, hopefully it's not going to be laggy because I'm on central servers right now. Normally I play on east. Just have to be careful about overcommitting. Nice. And get a goal there that I probably shouldn't have gotten before, but that's okay. Yeah, so I'm on central servers right now. Servers tonight have been super whack because of the update that just came out today. Update that just rolled out, basically, that was trying to fix some of the issues, but unfortunately ended up having its own set of problems. Nice, that's a good chow there. Can't really commit here. I am going to try to go backboard here. It's good patience for the opponent. Nice. So it's a bit of a tricky position because he kind of plays it slow there. He does a good job of, like, faking the high, going low there. Snow bump. Yeah, it really sucks because that didn't actually pump. But all good though. Seems to have like a patient playstyle. Nice. Good play there. It really sucks I missed that boost. That's really fucking annoying. I somehow missed that. Yeah, that goes in. Dude, that's frustrating. I don't understand how I missed that boost. I thought I went through it, but I guess I didn't. Okay, though. I'm just trolling. Man, I'm trolling, dude. Jesus Christ. Alright. It's really tilting. Fortunately, it's been like a lot of waiting today. Like a lot of waiting today. That's a really good offense right there, by the way. Just those little power slide cuts, that's a really good example of small ball. Yeah, opponent has to be really, really careful about that. I don't mind the idea of trying to, like, get a catch there, but it's a really bad place to get it, let alone, like, a bad place to hit the ball into. If they put it into their corner, that'd have been fine, but it's just not a really safe place to put it. I get what's going on there. That's really, overcommitted. Fortunately, you went and grabbed that other boost. I was trying to get that pad, and you got the pad. of a tricky game. Try to force it back. Opponent's gonna have a decent touch. I'm gonna play for that. Get to the cross. That's actually fine. Puts into a space that I can work with. Grab these pads. I don't really care that he's trying to keep away. He's trying to force a bad play. I'm not gonna go. Super bad shot. Doesn't really do anything. Take turn here. Close the space. Was expecting that. Just gonna bring it across. Can't really commit here. This would be a dangerous place to cross. I fucked that up. Wants to play it safe for OT. That's fine. And that's the way it ends. Wow. Ones. Alright, well, hopefully we can get a couple more games because it has been like an hour and a half and almost 2 hours since the update, and it has just been terribly, terribly buggy. So I'm really hoping to get at least a couple more games. If I can get a couple more games, I will call that good, regardless of quality, because at this point, servers have been borked. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I am an advocate of the idea that Psyonix really needs to consider public test servers. Something that PUBG did and did really well, and other games have done. I think Rainbow Six has done that. I think Tarkov has done that. There've like been quite a few games that do that. Rocket League honestly needs to do that. Okay, here we are in game number 2. And AFK opponent. Okay, wonderful. Always gotta love the AFK strat, except it actually didn't get me scored on this time. Be patient here. And that's why. That is exactly why you want to be patient there. Typically, in the first minute of a game, as Flakes talks about a long time ago, people are going to be stupidly aggressive in that first minute because they're just wanting to go. And it's a very common strategy, or lack thereof. Can't commit here. Watch for the bump. I would have gotten bumped there if I went for that. Doesn't have a double tap angle, so just bring it in the net. It's an open, obvious, easy shot. Don't have to have mechanics to get a goal. That's the thing. If your opponent wants to go for a crazy play that's not going to actually go in the net, that's no problem. Here, go for this pad lane here. Opponent's once again trying too hard. Like I said, opponent's trying too hard. They're trying to play too fast of a playstyle, and if you just keep pressure on them and force them into these mistakes, they're going to start cracking. So these are key things to kind of recognize. It's an unfortunate spot to get bumped. There, just allows me to pause the game, essentially, for a moment. It's a good flick. I have to be a bit more aggressive about the challenge, especially when the angle starts to become dangerous. I have to do something there. I can't just kind of stay back there, otherwise opportunities become more abundant. If I wants to go for more fake, that's fine. Really, really poor challenge. If you're going to go for a play, make sure you either commit fully or you don't commit at all. Don't do what I did where I just half committed. It's a really stupid play. That's how you get scored on. Opponent's just playing it too slow. He expected the boost to be there. I can tell, like, once he turned a certain direction, he thought the boost would have been there. It's just a bad positioning and awareness there. Like, you have 33 boost when you spawn. That's plenty enough to be able to make a defensive play. You could also look around and check before you commit yourself positionally. I don't really care that he's faking because he's not really doing anything. The only thing he's doing is just delaying with that, just not doing anything afterwards, which is fair enough. So here, just have to like recognize turning that far out just gives the possession away. It's a bit of a dangerous, so it's not that it gives possession away, it was already given away, but just gives him time to actually be able to shoot. Come on, Speedy. The opponent's not going to have a lot of boost. Cover the angle. Don't want to challenge. See, it's a really dumb play again. That's really important that you don't try to play into somebody that's already facing you. That's a really bad mistake there. Flakes talks about that. Just don't ever challenge and throw the ball into somebody that's already facing you like that, because otherwise you're going to get hit. No bump is really shitty. Once again, Sthlm comes back to that loss of possession. It's all good though. Let's not get tilted. Fair enough. Alright. At least I know if he's gonna diagonal, he's gonna be brain dead and just keep fucking faking the whole time, which is a strat. It only worked one time so far. Good. Let's wait dash kick off. A single jump chow. And then fake. Okay, so here we are in the replay portion of the video. What we're going to need to do is kind of watch how I lost this game. I got scored on, as you can see later in the game, about 5 times in a row by flip resets. Unfortunately, my defense against flip resets, despite being fairly decent in terms of understanding how to defend against them, this guy's resets were a bit harder than normal resets because the way he was getting first touches were really powerful, and they were really like first touches, meaning like his air dribbles going into the reset were really fast, so he was able to dominate space a lot. So let's watch it back a little bit. Bit of an unfortunate kickoff from before. It's a good challenge there, kind of disallows the space for him to be able to do what he wants. Not a great touch. I could have gone for a shot, but it's a bit of a tricky angle, especially given the way the opponent is challenging that. Opponent was nowhere near that play and ends up giving a lot of space. In terms of another key moment though, is right here. Is recognizing the ability to force the opponent into an awkward position. And you see how I was able to get the bump there? That can actually happen. If you're careful about setting up a good position, you can do good bump plays. This is also a really good play here. There's good patience here going into that potential shot. One of the things you want to do is recognize whether or not your opponent is going to be patient with the play or if they're going to early chow. If they can be patient, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be careful about how you set yourself up. You don't want to go for a shot here. One of the key things is I did not go for that boost. Two things, I was already plenty of boost. I had plenty of boost. And also, if I went for that boost, I would not have had a position where I could set up a possession play. So it's really key here. Here, playing small ball, going for small pop plays. And then here, really key thing, do not flip. When you have an open net like this, one of the really easy mistakes for players to make is they will try to flip. So they'll bounce here, and then they'll flip. What can happen is if you flip into it and you're a little bit too low on the ball, say like where I'm at, but a little bit more below that, you could pop it right into this post here. So because of that, you can see like just without flipping how close that came to the wall or to the crossbar here. So pay attention to how close that was. So right here. So this is without flipping. If I flipped into it, the added power could very well easily hit the crossbar and could have posted out. So pay attention to your positioning here. It's a really key thing to make sure that you don't overcommit in these positions and also don't over exaggerate the play. If you have an open net like this, make sure you just think high percentage. Be aware of the high percentage play. Bit of an overcommit here. So typically in a position like this, when you have a clean possession, one of the things you don't want to do is when you're turning around here, take too much time because the opponent's going to early chow that because it's in a safe spot in the corner. So one thing you could do is if I see that the opponent's like this, turn away and let them boom so you can try to scoop up a clean possession and then bring it back into your side. So it's just something you want to be doing. This case, that play, it's a bit risky, especially here on the low boost. He has full boost now and he has the potential to make a good counterplay. And then here I just made this more awkward than I needed to. That jump there, I thought he was going to do something. There was a big mistake there and it just gives the ball away, and then I end up actually getting scored on pretty significantly there. This actually has a pretty major impact on the game because it starts allowing the opponent to get momentum back. In terms of kickoff, my kickoff's overall good. My kickoffs generally fared pretty well against this guy, so I wasn't worried about a lot of kickoff goals. I did get scored on kickoffs later in the game, but that's more because he had flip reset possession plays, which are really hard for me to defend against. You'll see why soon. In terms of positioning, one of the things you want to be careful about is turning upfield here. This is a really risky position because it forces a really awkward exchange where a 50-50 will have to occur. He plays patient here, and I rushed the play thinking he was going to get ready to go. One of the alternative methods you could go about this position is once you know the opponent's being patient here, just wait. Just wait a moment before jumping. So one of the things you want to be careful about is jumping this early. You see how far below the ball This is not a really good position that's going to be favorable for me to even like get an angle. And then like side flipping means that I'm also side flipping right. So when you side flip right, what happens is that you're also shooting with the soft side, meaning you're coming across. So say you have the ball here and you're going like this, you're going across instead of into it. So what happens is when you're going across, you're going to skim the ball like I did there, and you're not going to get really clean contact, and it's just going to be a very soft hit, which gives possession away, which makes it a lot easier. Of course, one of the things you want to do, grab the corner boost, recognize the bump play. So obviously stay high here, just be careful about the play. The opponent's going to come across, and there will a boost as well. One of the things you want to do is be patient here. This should have been a goal. So like here, once again, if you remember from the last video, if you were able to watch the last video that came out a couple days ago, I talked a little bit about how backflip flicks can be really good, but they can be really high committal. Earlier in the game, you saw a case where backflip flick was really useful for a score, but this is a case where it's really high committal. So put myself in a spot where I was too far into the goalpost position, and I wasn't able to actually recover. So what I could do here is shoot it. Look how far this opponent is on the left side of the field, and look how much open space there is on the right side. One of the things I have to learn to consider is this position here. So I'm going to show it from right here. A hook shot, a good hook shot, if I just be a bit more patient right here, and I kind of play it back just a touch more and get behind the ball, that's going in a net. Like, he's not going to save that. Look how little momentum he has there. That's easily going in the side there, and that would be a goal right there. That should have been 5-2 right there. This is where the opponent starts going for a lot of resets. That should have been in the net. That was just a bad miss from the opponent, really, but badly defended. If I want to be able to defend this better, going like this is not a good idea. A position that's a bit more favorable is if I recognize like the opponent's going to be going for a flip reset play. This is the worst place to be. This is not where you want to be. You do not want to be doing what I did here, being in the dead middle of the goal here. Opponent can shoot it right, can shoot it left, can shoot it anywhere he wants with no way for me to be able to tell which way they're going to go. What you want to do is stay on one side, either grounded here, so that way you can force the opponent high, or be on the backboard here, preferably on this corner post here, and kind of be ready to chow that. If the opponent fakes, like for example, if they go for a late reset here and flick it, then you can kind of pop and defend. You can pop it here and have a defensive play. And then right here, you see how like the ball's right here. If I were in this position, I would have been actually able to protect against that ball. So these are things for me to learn. This is a learning lesson game. While this guy was pretty toxic, because I initially recorded the game and I just decided against actually recording it just because the guy was pretty toxic and just not good. That's a great shot there. Really good example of the power shot. This is actually one of the cases where learning the power shots can be really useful, because what you can do is if you do like almost like a corner side flip and then you also flip cancel there, you get a really good amount of power out of it, and then that just goes straight in the net. There's no chance you could save that. So this game should have been winnable, and it was winnable. Okay, so in this position here, you can see the opponent just decides to be kind of a goofball there. Good thing, not flipping here. Grabbing that boost is important. But instead of doing the right thing, which would have been going for that corner boost here, I go for kind of a cut here, trying to see if I can get a bump, and I end up getting myself bumped, which directly gets me scored on. So one of the things to recognize, and then he goes for the reset, and then he actually fakes it there. So his ability to recognize aerial space is really good. So here, if you see your opponent is cutting into all this open space, so here, this is a good example of a fly cam can open up an angle for me to recognize. What he's doing here, by coming out of the corner outwards like this, is he's providing himself more of an opening. Because what happens is the tighter you make that space, typically a lot of opponents will try to stay tight here, and then they'll just try to pop it down and try to get like a doomsday dish. That doesn't necessarily work often when you're defending here, because you have a backboard defender like I am here. I'm protecting the close, so he goes far. So he does a smart thing here, and then he waits for the reset, and then he slows it down at the very end. So this is a really smart play from them. Again, toxic dude, don't like the way he acts, but it was a good goal in fairness, and he comes back and wins the game. So that's a situation where you kind of want to be careful about when the opponent is opening up into that space like that. You want to challenge a bit earlier. So you want to come off the wall here and then force the challenge, either kind of be a little bit lower. So recognize where the ball's going. So kind of like going back here, recognize this spot right here. And I'm going to show it from his perspective. I want to show his perspective so you can understand what I'm talking about here. So here, at this point, when he's separating like this is when I should have already been challenging. I should have already been like right here. I should have already been right here at this point and then getting ready to 50 that. I didn't do that and ended up getting scored on because of it. So these are things to kind of be recognizing as a player. It's unfortunately, it sucks to lose. Nobody ever likes to lose, but it is important when you're going against somebody like this that has a better skill set in the air, especially for me, how I want to be able to learn how to defend against these types of plays better. It could be really important here. Once again, he has a lot of space here. I need to be early challenging this. One of the things that's really difficult is when the opponent has this much aerial space. Look how much room on the field that they have right here. This whole space right here, they can go for the reset. I need to either be one of two things. I need to either be very far past the backboard, or I need to be early challenging that as he's getting ready for the reset, so I can kind of essentially force him to rush the reset. It's a poor decision on my part, and it gets me scored on again. Here, I should have gotten scored on here. It was a pretty bad position. And like right there, it just fucks it up. But these are things you learn as a player. These are moments where you can live and learn. Hopefully from this I can learn how to be better against it. And then as you see here, I'm going to end up getting scored on from just after the kickoff. And opponent gets the play. This is a poor position here. One of the things you don't want to do is kind of like really stop here, because at this point I'm locked into the animation for a flip and I have no control. I wanted to go for a bump there, can't do anything, and then I fuck up this play. He gets an easy play to work with, and I overcommit here. At this point, this is just stupidity, and it was also me being really frustrated at the fact that nothing I was doing was working, and then he wins the game. Don't worry about the opponent being kind of toxic. I wasn't really focused on the toxicity, I was more focused on the fact I couldn't like defend worth the shit against the flip resets, which was really annoying. So when you're going against that, just learn how to recognize that and try to improve from there. With that being said though, if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speedy Man out.